Problematic Pub Podcast.
Problematic Pub Podcast.
Problematic Pub Podcast! The lunatics won't get much.
Problematic Pub Podcast.
Problematic Pub Podcast! Problematic Pub Podcast! Get out of pub!
You think it's funny? Come here and smack you in the mouth.
I want to say a big thank you to the support we've been having. We have an amazing support on all our videos, on YouTube, on TikTok and all that.
Yeah.
One thing we also do, we do Patreon, don't we?
Yeah, Patreon is a subscription. It's basically a paywall, so the dodgy stuff gets hidden behind that. You can subscribe at any time for as little as £3 a month. Or
£3 a month, £5 a month, £10 a month. So £3 a basic.
Yeah.
For £3 a month, you get an extra video a week for me and Simon. It's a bit more. You can say more things because it's not on YouTube. It's absolutely great. You're gonna love it, and also you get discount and first choice and all tickets to all our live events.
Yeah,
we've got live podcasts happening back. The first was a great success. So we've got loads of live podcasts. So it's patreon.com. It's obviously Problematic Pub Podcast. Go on there, download the app. It's exactly like YouTube. It's easy to set up, and you can cancel at any time.
Welcome to the Problematic Pub Podcast, episode 30, with myself, Simon Emmanuel, my new co-host, because Sandro's been done for those allegations. It's Chuck Morris. We've got two fantastic guests. We've got the worldwide Canadian comedian, Phil Nichol. Yeah. And we've got lead singer of the rock band Blackout. It's Sean Smith.
Hey!
He just told me literally like about 2 seconds ago. So what we do at the top of the podcast, guys, we give people 30 seconds to sort of say a bit about themselves, and then we move on to more pressing issues when, like, when's the last time you shit yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's how I was going to open with.
So, Phil, 30 seconds, what were you all about?
Well, I mean, what do you need to know? I was born in Scotland, born in Glasgow, raised in Canada. I've done comedy since 1987. Never had a day job, always been a performer. I like to rock. Blackout's my favorite band in Port Talbot.
Only Port Talbot.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not from Port Talbot.
You're not from Port Talbot. Yeah, but you're my favorite. You're my favorite band
when
in
we're
Port Talbot. When you're here,
that's the best band. Yeah. My name's Sean Smith. I am the frontman, as you said. One of two frontmen of the Blackout from Merthyr Tydfil, and we got to tour the world and stuff. And we did well in the UK, surprisingly, for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then we called it a day after we wrote an album that was too happy for our fans.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
They were still miserable goths.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out with Matthew Pritchard.
Oh, so, class. Yeah, we fucking love Pritchard on this podcast.
Yeah, so we did an album called Start the Party, and then everything fell apart. So, we got together. So then we split up for 9 years. Got together again last year. Yeah. And played Download Festival, and then, we're doing shows again. So.
But you're back now?
Yes.
Can I ask, what happened to you in the meantime? Because I've got this idea of, like, obviously you look quite rock and roll now, right? I reckon in the 9 years you were off, you just had a normal haircut, working in an office in a suit. We're back, boys, grow the hair!
Squeeze it out.
I dyed the hair when I was back. Yeah. But I was growing a mullet prior to us getting back together. But no, after that, I ended up, luckily, Pritchard come along in a very dark time in my life, because like I'd been shown from the Blackout for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Then there was no Blackout, and he was just shown lost from Merthyr. And then I ended up at, I was like managing Sleep When You're Dead, Pritchard's barber tattoo place.
I got my tattoos done.
Nice. And then, that was mainly it, really. And then I got into managing bands as well.
Yeah.
Where the money is.
How does that? Right. So I mean, that must be a difficult job, managing bands, right? Because I've sort of helped out a few comedians over time, and that's hard enough. Fucking bands is a different level.
Oh yeah. The more people in the band as well, the harder it is, obviously. But the management company I work with is managing some unbelievable bands at the moment. A band called Sleep Token, who are one of the biggest metal bands in the world at the moment. They're from the UK. Holding Absence, Funeral for a Friend. And I'm basically managing the Blackout myself as well. So, and that's the hardest one, actually. The Blackout is trying to get my bloody band members to get away from their lives to come and do some shows.
I'm always fascinated at how, like, bands get their names, because there always seem to be a random amalgamation of words, right? Is it like two buckets and they're just like, all right, pick one out of there? Because bisexual, blancmange, owl.
Yes! I think that's Boris Johnson's nickname. No, it was literally picked out of a hat because prior to being called the Blackout, we were called 10-minute preview.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you remember 12 o'clock on Sky TV.
Yeah.
On the adult channels, they had a 10-minute preview, which was, hey, see tits for free for 10 minutes.
yeah.
So we were called that for a while.
Yeah.
And then we got a new member. We wrote some good songs, and we were like, we can't stay with a stupid porn name, surely.
Yeah.
So we'd seen in New York was it 2001? It might have been before 2001. They had a power cut.
Yeah.
But I saw a T-shirt that said, I survived the blackout.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if we call ourselves the Blackout, we've got a free merch item. And that was literally like, how can we monetize this instantly, even though nobody gives a fuck? Yeah. I survived the blackout.
I love that you're selling merch, which is part of someone's darkest period in their life. You're like, fuck it, we make money off disaster, boys.
Yeah, well, we weren't here called 9/11, so.
That's class. So, Phil, you've got a musical background as well, haven't you?
Well, yeah, kind of. But I was in a musical comedy act for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Called Corky and the Juice Pigs.
Who were brilliant.
And that was definitely out of a hat.
Yeah.
Actually, what that was, we were all in. We went to acting school. I know, pretty. And we were in a movement room. We used to just smoke a lot of spliff, and we just sat there and we had to do an act the next night for a comedy competition. We just sat there and we just kept just jamming, improvising names like, Rudy's left nut, Bob's an asshole, Tina's tits, and then we came up with Corky and the Juice Pigs, and we thought that's the most inexplicable name. We thought, let's go with that.
Do you know when you were going through those names, I love it if there were actually people in the room and you were just looking around and go, Bob's an arsehole.
Exactly. There's going to be a band right watching this going, we're Tina's tits. Like,
you look over there and go, Jeffrey's tiny cock. You go, that's too much, mate. It's too far. It's holding on to tell anyone.
We did that for about 10 years and we got a couple albums out. You can cut them. If you go to my website, philnichol.com, there's like an RIP section where you can see them. You can download them and stuff. I don't know if anyone does. Whoever was managing us at the time, well, I know who it is, doesn't ever get back to us with any money. So
we do a call out if you want. We'll fucking kill you. All right, we're coming for you.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Lauren. I named him. Shit.
Sponsor for this episode is Avon Ales, absolute legends on Station Road. Avon Ales and fine wine. You can get craft beer, just a general good time. Staying with them will take out. They don't care.
So Avon Ales is Torba's #1 supplier of grassroots entertainment. You can call me night there once a month also. We've got grassroots bands, we've got a lot of entertainment. You can come in, have a drink, have a laugh. Great supporters of local acts and local arts, and have a good time.
How did you end up getting into stand-up comedy? Because I remember, I used to watch you on television before I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
And I remember you were one of the acts, man, when the first time I saw you, I couldn't believe the energy that you had on stage. And I'm like, fuck, I like that, man, because I was a big Lee Evans fan as well. And I liked the performance side of stuff. Where does that, and also, have you still got that energy? Because, I'm only turning 40 now, and I'm already leaning on the fucking mic stand. Mate, I'm done,
Yeah, well, I went through a period where I tried to do deadpan comedy because I thought, fuck this, man, I can't keep this up forever.
Yeah.
And I wrote a show called, it's a Bobby Spade as a character, the deadpan poet sings quiet songs quietly, which was a joke for anyone that knew me anyway. But I couldn't contain it. Most of it comes out of nerves, to be perfectly honest.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was like a lack of material and total nerves. And so I just went on. When I started, I was supporting Milton Jones on tour. And and he was doing that, and I would just go on and stand on tables and stuff, and each night he'd just be like, "Oh my god, I've got to go on."
So you were opening for Milton, and
and I like standing on tables with my trousers on my ankles, going, and then but that was it came out of nerves. But the Juice Pigs, we were we were acting students, and we were staying in a university house, and the power was shut off, and it was freezing. Anyone that had girlfriends stayed with them. We two of the guys dropped out of school and were drug dealers, so we were living basically in this we had all the parties in our house. In fact, there was one party we had with rolled up newspapers. We had a stack of newspapers, you just stack them up. up.
Yeah.
Someone had just had a newspaper fight, and there was
No, so you've lost me. You've lost me on the stacking up newspapers.
Yeah.
I've never been to a house with stacked up
Yeah,
newspapers.
just like a stack, like pizza boxes, you just shit everywhere, right? But anyway, they scrolled them out. Anyway, I got back.
This is a
to the house,
Canadian fucking thing I don't get.
it was like waist deep in newspapers.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there had been a band playing there the night before at the Union. They had a party, and when I went in the house, there was a couch, and someone just sat up through the newspapers, and it was one of the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers. But it was like, what the fuck is going on in this place? Anyway, so we were in that place, and there was a comedy competition in the Lancet, which is the school newspaper.
Yeah.
And it was like, it had like comedy competition. There was dollar signs in the corner. We thought, fuck, we could maybe win some money. So that we decided to enter it.
Yeah.
And we had like no material. We did it. We entered it, and I think it was like 3 nights later we did it, and we won that.
Yeah.
But it was actually part of a national competition that Labatt's, the beer company, was throwing.
Yeah.
And we ended up on television with them, with Eugene Levy hosting a comedy competition. And then that same company the next year did the tour. When they do the amateur contest, then they'd have a professional act, and then the professional judges.
Yeah.
The judges would go off while the professional act come on. Well, they hired us to be that professional act, so went from basically graduating from that and going into traveling across the country with a beer sponsored tour.
Oh, my
in a
God.
van, being driven around. We were like 21 years old, making like
Jesus.
a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
And with all the pot we could smoke, and being driven from university to university, where we were being all the people were like 17, 18, 19 years old. So
Yeah.
we were also very popular with them.
Yeah.
With
That's incredible.
girls. So it kind of took off from there. Within 2 years, we crashed the Montreal Comedy Festival. They wouldn't book us, and we were obviously destroying all these university gigs. And we
Yeah.
thought, fuck it. So we just decided to crash it. We crashed the Montreal Comedy Festival, set up a banner on the street.
Yeah.
And by the time the security came to move us, we already had a crowd of about 200 people. George Schlatter, who is responsible for like Ronan Martin's Laugh-In and all these huge American TV shows.
Yeah.
His daughter was doing a program called America's Funniest People.
Yeah.
Saw us on the street, came and interviewed us, and put us on the show. And within 2 years, we were on the Dudley Moore Comedy Club special, and that was kind of like how we started. It was kind of like we just kind of we crashed the Melbourne Comedy Festival. We looked at there's a big book of festivals, and we decided to go to the one the furthest away from where we were. Canada's here, Melbourne's there. We just went and crashed it, and
Punk rock?
We just fucking just did it.
That's class.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But we kind of trusted ourselves.
Yeah.
But we had our material was shit, like a punk version of Spider-Man. I mean, no punk version of the Flintstones, and like Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. But people loved it. And
the tour bus you tune up on has got no bottom. You just walk in.
yeah. It was mad actually. Yeah, we do. Do you remember Weebles? Do you have those there? Little Weebles
Yeah,
wobble.
yeah.
We used to think of Weebles, but Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That was the commercial, right? But Weebles on a yacht. So it was very, very lowbrow, but we just continued that. We realized people enjoyed that kind of punk ethic, and we were moved through. We went to Yuck Yuck's Comedy Club. We went on a Monday to the amateur night, and by the end of the first amateur night, they were like, "Can you guys come back next week?" And then the second one, they said, "Can you guys be the closing act?" And the fourth one, Mark Breslin, who owned the place, showed up and said, "I want to sign you guys to how much material can you do?" And we lied and went, 40 minutes. We had like 7 minutes. 40 minutes. And he went, "Well, I'm going to make you guys," and he gave us our first feature. So we went from being amateurs to being a headline act in the space of like 4 weeks, and all of the comedians hated us for it. Well, most of them. The good guys like Harlan Williams and Mike Wilmot and those guys. We remained friends with them because they kind of supported us on it. Yeah, I remember being in, like, for Showbiz Stories, we were backstage at Yuck Yucks. It's like a green room about the size of this.
Yeah.
And all the comedians sit around. We weren't very well liked, but there's 3 of us, so it's kind of hard to get. We were fucking our gang.
Yeah.
We were young, and we were like long hair, and we were like, fuck these, like, comedy. It's like, who's the fat dude in a suit, you know? And so, but this bouncer came in and went, "You guys have to clear the room." We were like, "What?" We were the headline act. We were like, fucking kicking us out. They go, "No, like, Kinnison's here." And we were like, "Well, fuck, I didn't even really know who Sam Kinison was." I'll be honest with you, kind of had heard of him, but I was like some young ballsy asshole. So we were like, we were used to wear matching polka dot shirts. Like we looked like nerds. But our act was like really, really like frenetic. And so the two huge big, like his bouncers came in and just looked at us. We were just, everyone else had cleared the room, all the other comedians, because they knew. And then he swings around the corner like Sam Kinison. Like now knows fucking.
What are you doing in my room?
He did. He just went like, who the fuck are these guys? And we went, we're Corky the Juice Pigs. Who the fuck are you? And he went, I like these guys. And then we went on, and he was going to go on after. He was going to follow us afterwards. Like we because the energy of three guys, and we were like hell for leather, doing songs about Americans and and we would destroy the room. And then Kinison went on afterwards and just went, these guys, who the fuck was that? You know, and that was kind of our first. That was in the first year of my career as a comedian.
That's fucking amazing.
So
I just like the fact you looked at a map and thought Canada to Melbourne without realising it's a globe. It's actually not the furthest point of here. You just wrap that around.
Chuck, are you trying to tell me there's a globe? Fucking catch up, buddy. We all know there's an ice wall.
Early onset flat earthers. I mean, just go straight line.
You'll be telling me Noah existed next.
Our next sponsor is Jenkins Plumbing. You got a little leak. You got a little leak. You want your bathroom changed. You want a kitchen changed. You want a new boiler. Your boiler's broke. Got problems. You want to sort it out. Jenkins Plumbing, baby. They're based in Nichol, but they cover all of South Wales and the UK. They can come up really quick for call outs 24 hours a day. Anything that can be done. And how would you find Jenkins Plumbing then, Simon?
Very easy, kind sir.
How
very
do you
easy.
find it?
Just go to jenkinsplum.com for a free quotation, or just have a look what they're doing.
Yeah, you want to look what they're doing. You want to get a bit of plum, you go jenkinsplum.com. Thank you very much.
One question that we like to ask our guests on this podcast, one of my favourite questions, we like to talk about dreams that you've had, right? Because I've had some absolutely insane dreams. Like I probably asked you this, Chuck, as well. I don't think I asked you last time you were on about a dream that you've had. It could be a recurring dream or one dream that's stuck in your mind that was absolutely insane. You can't get your head around what it means. Sean, do you want to start with that?
Oh, can I not? Can I go last?
Yeah,
because I'm a big fan of Jamaican cigarettes.
Yeah.
My dreams have been stumped for a while.
I was just thinking the same thing, but like, you don't dream on that. You just wake up going, fuck.
I sleep all right.
There is no REM sleep in the last 10
So
years
basically, that was a trick question to find out who the fucking addicts are on the podcast.
There's story that Bob Marley obviously smoked a lot of pot, I'm guessing. And then he actually had a dream. He dreamt of his own assassination. He actually woke up and went, I just had a dream that I've been shot. And they were like, oh, well, fuck, that's weird, Bob. And a week later, Bob's been shot.
Should have smoked some more fucking weed then. Cancel those fucking dreams right now.
The Rastafarians, but I think, believe in dreamscapes. They get a lot of their info, like they believe they're as real as it's as true as real life. Yeah, which happens when you do smoke a lot of weed. Right?
So basically, like, so if the Rastafarians can smoke and fucking still dream, boys, you two are two fucking amateurs when it comes to smoking because you're not getting the dreams, like.
No, I'll quote my friend from Merthyr who said one of the greatest lines when it comes to smoking weed.
Yeah.
Bob Marley got a poster of me, but
That's fucking funny. Any weird dreams that come to your mind, Phil?
Well, man, I've been having a lot of them recently. I was in Ibiza last week, and since I've got back, your mind is like sort of reconnecting all the synapses, but nothing like. When you talk about dreams, it's easy to go, I was in a pool and then the thing, and everyone just sits there and goes, oh, that's nice, Phil. I mean, it feels real and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I remember having one, and I've never had recurring dreams since, and it's I'm not sure what causes it or anything like that. I do a lot of sleep deprivation when I was younger. Like, I used to stay up for days and days on end.
On purpose?
Yeah, well, on purpose. But I didn't sit there, I'm going to stay up for days. 4 days later, I'm still awake. And so I did a lot of reading into stuff about sleep deprivation and brainwashing and stuff like that. But I remember having this recurring nightmare, and it wasn't even a nightmare. It was just me. I don't drive. I just started driving this year, but I never drove. But it was me driving a pickup truck along this road that was kind of like some place where I used to live, and this sort of little black 7 or 8 year old black child would just sort of stand out in front of the stand up in front of the pickup truck, and I would screech to a stop, and then he'd smile, and I'd wake up like, whoa! And it was the first time it happened, I was like, wow, what the fuck is going on? Like, I just like kind of, it was just so real and weird and odd, but nothing too peculiar.
Yeah.
And then I started having the same fucking dream. It was like, because I'd tell people like this thing happened.
Yeah.
And then I was going, am I making it happen? Am I not making it happen?
Yeah.
There's nothing more to it. It was just, so it's kind of weird. And then I remember the dream kind of grew a little bit where the kid would come around to the side of the truck and then like, hold my hand, and as soon as I'd like, whoa, and then freak myself out and sit there like, and you know, at that point I was a stoner, and I was like, going, fucking, what the fuck? Why? What are you trying to tell me? You know,
Can we just clip this so it's just like he enjoys running over black kids?
exactly.
And then he just, whenever they touch him, he just freaks out. Jack, can you clip that for me, bro?
Yeah, it was strange. And it hasn't happened since. It hasn't happened since, but it's so vivid in my mind. I could describe it quite.
Yeah.
And I never ran over him, Chuck. Not yet.
Not according to the clip Jack's gonna make.
Have you got any you can remember, mate? Any like just like wild dreams?
But honestly, if I could remember them, would be fucking one start. They're missing an artery to the brain, so my short-term memory is fucking.
Oh, I know why you're missing arteries to the brain. I got told a story a couple of days back about is this why? So someone said to me the other day, you don't realise how wild Chuck used to be. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, put it this way, you had a crash once and Chuck was bent over through my glass church window, bleeding out. Then you couldn't get into a house.
No, it was my own. That's what that scar is. Yeah.
Diving through church window.
No. It was, fucking. I bet that was Nolan. I used to live with him in uni, and we lived in this old townhouse, and it was it must have been 4 or 5 stories, something like that. But they gutted it all out, so it was like 8 or 9. As we're coming back from the union. And the bird I was seeing at the time, I had a blazing argument with her. I was like, fuck this. I fucking stormed off in front of them. I'm like, she got the fucking keys.
Yeah.
You can't go back and ask her for it up. But the door just used to open and you give it a little nudge.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, now all I got to do is give it a little nudge. It's early in the morning. Fucking, it was like flagstones at the front of there, so I tripped over them as well. And that just fucking was straight through.
Oh, goodness kiss. Lovely.
But it was like tungsten glass, so it was gouged like a £2 coin out of there. We never found it. Like, I think a seagull ate it or something.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, I had to go down to Morriston for like the plastic surgeons to have a look at it and everything. But yeah.
Nice. Do you know what I love? I'd love it if you could work out how severe your arguments with your girlfriend are based on what sort of property you end up abusing. Right? So like, if you've had a minor argument, you've kicked the tent, right? If you've proper kicked off, you put your head through a window. If it's major, you've just kicked the fuck out of a synagogue. You know what I mean?
Our next sponsorship is Complete Composite Doors, Windows and Repairs. They specialise in all aspects of the double glazed industry, from UPVC to aluminium windows and doors and glass replacements. They also specialise in high quality composite doors for over 100 designs to choose from. They are a Circas accredited company and they have over 10 years experience in the double glazing industry covering all of South Wales. They're a proud sponsor of this podcast. I say thank you very much. Also, the products also come with a 10-year guarantee. For the free quotation, please contact them directly on 0169 500 515. You can also find them on Facebook, Google, and also look at their high standard of quality work. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, bro. Another question on the podcast. We like to hear about people's embarrassing situations from their life, right? This could be an embarrassing situation when it comes to dating. It could be a sexual situation. It could just be something that's happened in general that just sticks in your mind and you're like, I can't believe that happened. So, Sean, what's the one? Well, it can be one or two, mate. Is there anything that sticks in your mind?
Yeah, when I was 15 years old, I drank for the first time.
Yeah.
And I drank 3 litres of White Lightning.
Fucking hell.
I was like,
that's such a Murphy thing, you know? Fucking hell.
In a bush. I was in a bush once. That's a Murphy.
Hang on, you started in a bush. Normally you end up in the bush.
Yeah, we started hiding behind the bush. So
That's where the
parents could
blackout
see
came
us.
from. The name fucking 3 litres of fucking White Lightning. He's fucking gone.
And, yeah, we should be called a blackout after this. So we started in the bush.
Yeah.
so the parents couldn't see us, drunk it, wait till the parents left this girl's house, then we all piled in the house.
Yeah.
And I ended up, it's not funny, but I laugh about it now. I started crying for my mother in front of all my friends.
Like you're on a school trip for the first time. He misses his mum.
I went from never drinking to drinking 3 litres of White Lightning, crying for my mother. I remember going to the kitchen, I smashed a pint glass over my head.
Did you have to put the Morrison?
No, it's no Morrison. No, yeah, I'm a lot lower in the
I'm starting to
tempers.
see a connection with Murphy boys.
Yeah.
Every time something goes slightly wrong, you put your head through some sort of glass. What the fuck's going on, boys?
It's
Just not a glass, bro.
Yeah, and we're not used to them. So did that. Then I believe some girl tried to look after me.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm in here.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in there. So I tried to go down on her with her jeans on. And then...
How can you go down on the girl when you've still got shards of glass hanging out of your forehead?
I think I might have had like a little... I Ric Flaired it, I had. And it was a little... I bladed. I had a bit of a crimson mask, but that was it. So yeah, started trying to give a girl cunnilingus through some Levi's. And
It's
then...
a hell of a fucking tongue to rip through fucking denim ever. I can't even scratch an itch on my leg. I fucking get to a clip.
Let me have a go. So yeah, that obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What are you doing?" And then so I left. I walked home, and then so this must have been about like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
By this time, I got home to my parents' house, and I managed to walk straight into the house, sat at the table. My mother was like, "Oh, do you want something for food?" And I said, "Egg and milk." She made me egg and chips, and then I dived head first into the egg, just like. And then I woke up the next morning in my bed, and I went, "What? Oh, fuck!" And I didn't go downstairs for about 48 hours because I know my parents were waiting for the.
Mate. I love that. I love the idea of you getting up in the morning. You're like, "Fuck it, what happened
Yeah.
last night?" You look in the mirror,
At
your face
15
is full of blood, and your eyes an egg. You're like, "Oh, fuck, okay, I remember now."
Levi's buttons imprinted in my head.
I just imagine fucking what turns up. He's there and he's like, I'm in with a chance. Well, nothing turns women on more but crying for your mother, does it? She is soaking, man.
My mum. So that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that is, to be fair, that's more embarrassing than I was expecting. To be honest, that's a really good one.
Cheers,
What
thank
about you, Phil?
No, embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't even. It's not as funny. Maybe as that. I was having like a bit of a nervous breakdown once I was in Cork, Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah. And I had been doing that thing. I'd been in Australia with a comedian called Steve Hughes, like a rock and roll
Steve.
comedian.
Yeah.
And we spent about 10 days together. And he'd had this sort of trucker speed. Anyway, I had basically been up for about 10 days, and then flew back to be and end up in Cork, Ireland. Anyway, and I was just uncontrollable, and the other two guys, the Corkies, had buggered off because they were sick of me. And I'd been chucked out of my hotel room. I don't remember why. Oh no, it was because there was a
running over black kids.
Yeah, exactly. It was the Munster finals, and it was Tipperary versus County Clare. County Clare are blue and yellow, and Tipperary are yellow and blue.
Yeah.
So everyone's fucking wearing blue and yellow, and I don't have a clue, and nor do I give a shit. And they set up a bar in the hotel lobby for when people come in later.
Yeah.
And me and this little bully boy, this Northern Irish guy that I just hooked up with, decided we were just going to open the bar ourselves. So we started drinking free beers out of the bar, and they caught us and realized I stayed in the hotel, chucked me out.
Yeah.
So we go to the pub, and I continue. The pub's packed with people in yellow and blue, and I'm with the Northern Irish guy.
Yeah.
And this this big guy was going Tipperary, and I was going, no, he was going Clare, and I just don't even. I'm sitting there going Tipperary. I don't fucking know. And the guy that's with me, the little Northern Irish guy, skinhead guy with the bomber jacket on, and this huge guy turns around and he's he's yelling, he's going, declare, and I'm going Tipperary, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. The whole pub has stopped, and this guy started coming over to these, and he's a boss-eyed guy like this, and he's looking at me, and I stand up, and everyone's going, oh fuck, this is gonna get really messy. And then he goes Claire, and then my little friend goes Tipperary, and I kid you not, the guy's eye moved independently of itself and saw him, and because the Northern Irish carry, and this guy and his friends went, fucking leave alone, turn around here. And this big guy turned around and said, oh fucking hell. So chucked out of that bar. I'm now crawling along the road. I've got my guitar and my bag on. I don't know what's happened to the Northern Irish guy. And there's a pub we were in the day before called the Manatees Pub. Yeah. And the Manatees Pub was run by this woman. We'd been in there the day before, off our faces. I think we're tripping. And I'm doing gigs at this time as well, like going to the gig and performing. And I'm crawling the road. Now, in Cork, there was a guy called Bernie Murphy who was like the drunkest man in Cork. Yeah. That's that is he's renowned. He's the kind of guy that wears a towel on his head. He's got like dried kebab meat in his pocket. He wears a blazer and a towel. Like the guy's right. He's known. In fact, in Cork, he was so famous. One year they tried to run him for mayor, and he got like 3,500 votes. Like, I was about to say, he did well in Murphy. He's famous. Bernie Murphy's famous, right? So I'd like go. I see the Manatees Pub. I don't know where I'm going, and I can't remember where the other two guys are staying. Yeah, I'm crawling along on my hands and knees, like, I get up to go to the Manatees, and the woman's at the door. She's like, "You can't come in." Yeah, I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" She goes, "You can't come in." I'm like, "Well, I was here yesterday." She goes, "No, you're too drunk, and I'm not going to serve you. You can't come in. Sorry." And I was going, "But I'm fine. I'm falling apart. I'm fine. I'm falling apart." And I'm like, she goes, "You're too drunk. You can't come in." And it all hits me, like the whole thing, overwhelmed. I fall onto my knees, and I'm on the ground, and I'm crying beside my guitar. And Bernie Murphy walks up behind her, right, and he's looking down at me, and I swear he didn't say anything, but I could hear him saying, "You better stop doing that." And I'm looking up at Bernie Murphy, and he looks at her, and she's like, "All right, Bernie, in you go." And Bernie Murphy goes in the pub, and I'm there thinking, the drunkest man in Cork is allowed in the pub, and I am not allowed in the pub. Good, nice. And I had a complete emotional breakdown, and then ended up. Rolling around on the road, bawling my eyes out. That's the most Irish story I've ever heard in my life. The drunkest man in Cork. They want to run the place. That's fucking excellent. Yeah, he's allowed in the pub, but you're not. That's so funny. That's class. Another question we got on this podcast. We're interested in superpowers, right? So if you could have a superpower, what would you choose? Why would you have it, and what would you do with it? Do you want to go first with this, Sean? What superpower would change your life for the better?
Flight, I think. Just
a fight?
No, flight.
Oh, I was going to fight. The power to fight. You can just have a fight.
He's got Bertha on a brain.
Yeah. That's amazing. What would you do with flying, though? Would you do something useful?
Yeah, travel quicker. Yeah, just get places, because I fucking hate driving.
I do just want to point out that planes travel like 500 mile an hour.
Yeah, I know, but you've got a queue to get on a fuckers, haven't you? If I could just fuck off, if I could just go fuck this.
500 mile an hour, you see eyes open. It's quicker. I don't like it quicker.
Well, eyes closed, mate. I have fucking waves in my pocket.
Eyes closed, you end up in Melbourne, then.
Google Maps in the pocket. You're over Birmingham, all right? And there you go. Yeah, flight, I think. Yeah, just kind of lazy. Like, I fucking hate driving. And from touring and stuff like that, like, spending fucking 16 hours in a van to get from Ireland to Wales or fuck all that shit. And so flight, I think. I know it's boring, and it's not.
It's right, because we had someone before on the podcast who's from the guy from the Aki Dar band, and we asked what he would want, and he said he want to fly, and I assumed it's for that reason. His reasoning was so he could take a shit on the people he didn't like.
That's nice. Well, I was thinking if you could fly also, you'd dress it up, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just be dressed. You'd get into like dressed as a squirrel.
A pig.
Yeah,
You're like, what the fuck? This happened. This fucking finally happened.
Yeah.
What about you, Phil? What would you go for?
Well, I've thought about this for a long time. I think the superpower would be always having the correct answer would fucking drive other people insane. If you ask me any question, I know the correct answer. That'd just be fucking, and that'd be a great superpower to have.
that would,
especially when it comes to directions or something. Yeah, it'd be fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And also,
wind
you'd
people
never
up.
lose an argument. Oh, it would drive your girlfriend.
Jesus Christ.
I think I've got that superpower, but it's just not. It's not actually there. I just believe I've got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sure, I'm right. It's just like,
Exactly.
I don't know if you are.
It's a good one.
See, I'd love to like be able to control time.
Yeah.
But it's for the wrong
good.
reasons. Like I'd like, you'd think if you control time, you'd go back, maybe stop the bloody what the Nazis did and stuff like that. My reason to control time is just so when I wake up in the morning, I'm tired, I can just freeze time for another 2 hours. I have a bit of a lie-in. That's how fucking lazy I am as a person. Like,
I always thought if I could control time, I'd go back and I'd get like you keep going back to that day that the bully first beat you up in school, but you just train the whole rest of your life, then go back and so by the time you're going fucking, or you can do the same thing the first time when you lost your virginity. Lost virginity was an 18-hour session. It was like all the different positions. You just keep going back and just get better and better and better and better and better.
do you know what I would genuinely do if I
Wait a minute. You're going to travel back in time to fuck somebody who lost your virginity. How old are you lost your virginity?
No. When I lost my virginity, I was 21 when I lost my virginity.
Oh, fair play. I was going to say, because if you're like a 40-year-old man going back to fuck your first girlfriend, that's going to be one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. We have laws against this. Get ready for this, baby. Yeah. Why is that man?
And you're assuming it was a girl as well. It was actually a little black child. So that's like, you're wrong.
Did you stop before you got him?
that would be so weird as well.
That's what the pickup truck was about in the dream.
Can you imagine, like, you actually get that, but you misunderstand, and there's something go back in time, you go, great, I'll go and shag the first girl I ever shagged, but then you go back in time, but you're the same age.
I was thinking that when he was on about going back and fighting his first bully. I was like, you just imagine the people in school going, that looks like a bigger Phil Nichol with a beard beating up a 5-year-old.
Why is that 50-year-old man beating up a 5-year-old?
I just imagine my missus from high school.
Is that Phil's dad beating up a 5-year-old? No, it's Phil from the future.
That guy's my first girlfriend in high school. Some 37-year-old bald man come back and fucks her. Fucking terrifying, bro. I thought I know all the positions and your name for some reason.
End up pranking yourself. That's why you like just show up behind things that are really important to you, but naked with a fucking sock on, going with an African mask, going, and you'd be, will you fuck off? I know what you're doing.
I'm glad he can't do that with mask at the end.
Do you know what I genuinely, right, what I would do if I could go back in time, I would go back to the year when I started stand-up, right? And you know, like all these new comedians that have come out since I started that I'm insanely jealous of, and they got brilliant material. I'd have all that material. Technically, I've started before them, right? So it's all right,
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I would be starting comedy with 3 hours material ready, straight up to Edinburgh. The next sponsorship for this episode is Davis & Davis Furniture.
Oh, I am going to sofa. I am going to cupboard. I am going to sideboard. Where are you going to go?
Where are you going? Davis Furniture.
They're so nice and named it twice. Davis, baby.
You could go to that shitty Swedish one we're not allowed to name for legal reasons.
I want some meatballs.
Yeah, I'll have a meatball and an argument with my missus. Don't do it.
I want some shit flat pack furniture.
Yeah, go to Davis Furniture, get whatever you want.
Yeah, go to davisfurniture.co.uk to find them on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want. You come and get it, baby.
And where are they based?
They're based in the Furniture Centre in the United Kingdom.
It's Swansea.
But genuine, please go and support them. They're supporting us. I'm fucking knackered after that. Davis & Davis Furniture, they're the best in the West. Well, they're Southwest. I don't know where they are. They're brilliant.
All right, this part of the podcast is called Pint Politics. It's where we talk to people about drinks they can't drink anymore, why they can't drink them, and what happened on them. We're going to do a quick jingle before we kick off for this. Pint Politics. What have you done? Pint Politics. You've shagged a nan. don't know why I look at you there, Chuck.
Is your superpower mind reading? Is that what we've established now? Fuck does he know?
So, pint politics. So, Phil, have you got any stories about drinks that you cannot stand anymore and what happened on them?
I'm pretty good at drinking everything, to be honest. I mean, I had a bit of problem with tequila for a while there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done lots of stupid things drinking tequila.
Yeah.
We were also mixing it with other things. I've got a couple of. I once went into a police station whilst tripping and drunk on tequila to tell them they were doing a great job. I walked in and went, guys, hey, just I'd say congratulations, guys. You could stay really safe out there. Well done, everybody.
The mistake you made there, Mix, was mixing tequila with drinking it. Is what you've done there.
But other than the story I told you about the Munster finals, Cork, Tipperary. There was one time. This comes from a show that I did that I wrote about it called The Naked Races. It's about 5 hours of time in Amsterdam. So it's like, and I know Amsterdam. These Amsterdam stories, everyone's got them. But this was a wild night. But it ends up because we'd studied in Canada. There's a group called the Dakubars, or these Russian immigrants. Yeah. Canada's populated with all these Puritan religious colonies. A lot of people escaped the countries that were going to end up in Canada because you just set up your little colony.
Yeah.
And the Dakubars had been in Russia. They'd been on the border of Armenia. Yeah. And the Tsar wanted them to fight the Armenians, but they were new Christians, born again Christians who were vegans and vegetarians and believed that God knew the feather on every bird's head and that. Yeah. And they refused to fight their neighbors. And what they do is, if ever in conflict, is they strip naked. They'd go and they're long haired. Like this is before the turn of the century.
They work for the BBC by any chance? That seems to be their tactic as well.
Yeah. But just get naked. You can take my you can't take my dignity, which was one of the jokes. Anyway, so that's when we learned in Canada about the Dakubars. And so I was being in Amsterdam, been up all the couple of days, sat in a bar with this guy Jerry, who was a psychopathic ex-Marine who fought in Iraq.
Phil, can I stop you there? What I love, mate, this is the second story you've told where you've literally been up for a couple of days and sitting in a bar with a nutter.
With a nutter, I do attract
them. For a couple of days before this.
Chuck and I are going out later. So long story short, I'm broken down. I'm by the Homo Monument in Amsterdam, which is a real place. The Homo Monument. Which I stopped because it made me laugh because it's got M-O-M-O. Yeah. I just thought it was something funny in my cross and these skinheads on bicycles, like sort of teenage, sort of circling around me, and I kind of came to with them yelling at me in Dutch, and I thought, holy fuck! I'm like they think I'm gay, and I'm like, and so I kind of stood up with the same kind of attitude, like, well, what the fuck? And they just got closer and closer to me, and one of them like had a little like sort of switch on him, and I just thought, the fuck, they're gonna like rough me up. So I kind of kicked one of their bikes out of the way and just started sprinting and they were chasing me on the fucking bikes, and I'm like, and I had a little guitar with me that I had been carrying around all night, and I'm like going fuck, and I got over a bridge around by a cafe. The cafes were closed. It's about 3 a.m, and I hid under the tables, and I thought, this fucking cunts, fucking racist, fucking really furious, and all the fucking alcohol, it's fucking cunts. And I thought, the fucking Dakubars. So that's what I'll do. I'll take my fucking clothes off, right? And I'll fucking have these cunts, and I'll show them why you can't take my fucking dignity. So I got my gear off, and I've got to put my clothes under my arm, kept my shoes on, I'm not a creep. Yeah. Right? And I see them on their fucking bikes riding the other way, and I'm like, and I go, come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking go. And I start fucking heaving towards them. Yeah. And I'm running towards them, going, come on, you fucking assholes, you fucking yoke, some of me, you fucking. And I run up, and it's not them. It's two young.
It's a little black kid.
Somebody's about to run over.
It's two black teenagers delivering delivering the newspapers. I've never put that together. Delivering newspapers, and I'm so fucking relieved to see them that I try and try and hug one of them like this. And they going, fine. They're like yelling at each other, and they fucking pedal away. And I'm standing there with my little guitar in my hand, and I just realize, and I go, you beautiful little black kids, blah, blah, and racial slur. And then they run away. And then I stand there and I just starts, this sweat drips as you can feel it dripping off the end of my penis. And I think, oh my God, I am the naked racist. And that's how that show, The Naked Racist, came to be. And I walked back to my hotel room, and it's just as the sun's coming up, thinking, and I didn't even bother putting the clothes back. I just walked back and walked through the lobby, and they go, all right, and they go, Amsterdam, you know. And I lay there thinking, what the fuck, what was that? And actually, the next night I flew back. Yeah. I did a show called Four Kiwis Walk Into a Bar, and that's on in the Headliners Club in Chelsea. It was all the Kiwi boys. Yeah. And I just walked in, told them the story. And they went, "You've got to tell that story. Yeah. You've got to fuck it. That's the funny, like the whole story." Yeah. So I went up on stage, told the story, got nothing. Yeah. The audience just looked at me like what? And so I thought, well, no, I was naked. And I went, oh fuck it. I took my clothes off to show them. And then they started laughing. Hang on a minute. Shit! What's funny about this story? And that's how the show developed. I thought it got such a good reaction that I did it the next night. And then so for the next year and a half, I just finished my show by taking my clothes off.
And now you've got an OnlyFans.
I've got an OnlyFans. So
that's amazing. So I got a question, man, about Canada, because you were saying there that a lot of the sort of repressed religious groups end up going to Canada. Yeah. What is it about Canada that draws that in? Because I know I used to be part of the UFO cult, the Raelians, right? Yeah. Nice. And and I will put out there, I was not aware they were paedophiles when I joined.
I just said nice. Yeah, you just said it when I've gone, nice. No, just thinking it's a normal UFO club.
I went to because my friend James,
even better.
My friend James, who managed our group, was into psychic stuff, and we went to a psychic fair, and I'm a total disbeliever. And the Raelians, one of the guys was there, and did a thing, and I just sat here, and I'm looking around thinking, are people? Is this for real? And, and it was the first time I really had that, where I thought, wow, this is how these cults work. But I was raised in a devout, born again Christian family, so I in the Brethren Assembly, which is like a really quiet, almost like Mennonite type people, like And they at one point in the Brethren development, they believed that buttons were evil, because they didn't even have buttons, because they come undone easily. It leads to sex standing up, like whatever. Woo! So I can't understand the draw of it. But what the fuck were you thinking?
Oh man! So basically, what made me laugh was so the Raelians, they started in France and they got kicked out of there, and they searched worldwide for countries to take them. And it was Canada eventually. I think they went over to Montreal. Yeah. So with me, I was always a big believer in aliens, and I was
and dragging.
He was a race car driver, wasn't he?
Yeah. So Claude Vorion. But this is how I got in, right? So I was going to audition for Big Brother in the UK, right? And I was in acting college at the time. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to create this character and see how far I can audition, right? So I create this character, is called Sunshine. And when I was researching weird religions to put in his sort of back history, I found the Raelians, and then didn't end up auditioning for Big Brother and joined the Raelians. Bloody Big Brother! And then I went to a seminar in Slovenia, and it was a 3-day seminar, right? Day 1 was lovely, all about meditation. Day 2 about the teaching. By day 3, people started getting naked, and there was a message that went round, and it was sort of along the lines of, if any of the higher guys approached you sexually, you weren't allowed to refuse them. And at that point, I was like, I'm out of here. Like, but I was only 18 at the time. Yeah. Now, as I'm getting older, I'm more promiscuous. I might have stayed. I might have been interested to see what happens.
That is the worst attempt to try to get around rape in my life. You can't say no. Fair enough. If that is the consequence of it.
It's funny how these cults always boil down to that moment, right? No matter you find out about them, but it always just boils down to that. Yeah.
And you know what's mad? So I always thought that Claude Vorion, the guy, he called himself Royale, was a bit strange, right? Now last year a documentary came out on Netflix, and I've been out of that cult for nearly fucking 20 years now, right?
In a new one, no?
Yeah. This is it. This is the problematic podcast. And then, like, right at the end of that documentary, they do like an update of where he is now, and he's in Japan, right? And the last shot of him, he goes, I'm in Japan now. He goes, I've met the love of my life and my other love of the life, and it's just a picture of him on a settee with two Japanese teenagers, right? The guy is 72 years old. I'm like, you're a fucking creep, man.
Yeah.
It's just all about like it's that power thing. It's it all like dynamic. The sexuality always comes into it, and it's fucking.
And it's the sleep deprivation thing they do as well. Is they keep you. It's the same thing that David Icke does, where he'll talk for like 18 hours, and you just no human being can keep up with that. And your mind, it just pummels your mind with it, and so people. But and they never give you the good, the weird stuff until they've got you in that mindset. Oh, everything is saying makes sense. Wait a minute. There's a Saturn moon matrix. There's people sending messages from Saturn. Hang on a second. But by that point, you're like, well, that makes sense as well.
It's like Scientology, isn't it? Like when they get to that whatever level, OT 10 or whatever, and then it's like, oh yeah, all our bodies covered in alien. What?
Well,
Yeah, but he's like, there's messages coming from Saturn. There's always some guy who can't even work a fucking iPhone. How are you picking up these fucking things? Like, I'm on those buttons on the phone. I can't do touch screen.
That's class, like that. Yeah. So
they say that they're beaming off the curvature of the moon at the Earth.
Yeah.
I was online having laughing with a guy that I'd met online. Well, I say a friend, it's some asshole I'd met online. And he went, everyone knows the moon isn't as a light in the sky and the Earth's flat. And I'm going, he's calling them idiots. Like he's going, I'm a flat earther, and there's no way Saturn doesn't exist. And I'm like,
NASA pictures.
We're
all
arguing
fake.
about beaming beams off the and I was like,
Why the fuck are they beaming off the moon? They can see the moon. They can see the Earth. Why? That's like that's like if you got an open goal, just kicking it against you, mate.
You just realize that these people are like, no, I'm right. They're flat. They're moon matrix. Ha, idiots. Everyone knows theirs flat. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The only one I kind of liked, and it's because this is the way I would work if I was running a cult, was Charles Manson, right? Because Charles Manson didn't play the long game. What he did was just fucking straight down. He gave him a bit of LSD, he waited half hour, and went, I'm God. They're like, all right, fair enough. What a way of doing it that was. Like.
But I always take offence to the thing people always label things cults. And I'm like, well, if you're going to label that a cult, every religion on the planet has to be labeled a cult. Because if you Google if you Google the definition of a cult, definition of a cult is a religious belief outside of the norm. So that means every new religion is a fucking cult.
Cheers, Chuck. You just lost all our Christian followers.
Bluestone Brewery is an eco-friendly brewery based in Newport, but not the crap one, the one in Westwest Pembrokeshire. Bluestone brew a wide range of beers. They focus on consistency and quality, and they make beers they enjoy drinking, like us drinking them right now. Bluestone.
Here's a question for you. Do Bluestone Brewery enjoy hurting the environment?
I don't know, do they?
No, they do not! In fact, they've won awards for not hurting the environment.
You can also visit Bluestone Brewery tap room for a taste.
Or you can, if you're at home and you think I feel like a beer, you can go to www.bluestonebrewing.co.uk and...
What happens?
They're delivering to your bloody door.
Yeah, they're not next door, not up the street. They come in the door. They deliver. But because you're a podcast fan, they will look out the podcast people, and we want to track the orders. So if you do it, type in the discount code PUBPOD10 to get 10% discount off your next order. Thank you.
Get it down there.
And they also do live events. I've done one in stand-up. Live events in the summer. They're absolutely class. Go to brewstonebrewing.co.uk.
They do,
So, Sean, have you got any of those? Because I'd imagine being in a band, you must have some fucking mad drinking stories, right? Because I know it's a rock band you're in. Rock bands are never just turning up on a Sunday and playing golf.
Yeah, we were... My band.
But to be fair, Chuck, I know, but you know, you play golf now. But like when I look at you and I see, I can imagine you playing golf. What I actually imagine is a man that's just desperately trying not to kill people. That's your calm time, isn't it? No, I mean, we're going to slash his fucking throat. I'm going to play golf again.
He's got a club in his hand.
Someone told me there were mushrooms up that mountain. But
that's what it was. Go on, carry on, Joe. Sorry.
Yeah, my band was. There was only. When we started, there's 6 of us in the band, and 3 of them were drinkers, and 3 of us weren't drinkers. Because I didn't drink from 18 to 28.
Yeah.
So I did 10 years of straight edge. It was called. And so I ended up drinking because I was in Japan. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, do you want anything from the bar?"
Yeah.
He's from another Welsh band. And I said, "Yeah, I'll have a Coke." And he came back and he was like, "Baileys." And I was like, "All right, yeah." I was like, "Oh, this cream's quite nice.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking milkshake."
That's the most least rock and roll drink in the world.
Yeah. Oh, you wait, you get better. Drank 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
Drank 6 of these Baileys.
And then you had a hooch.
Yeah, but what you got to remember is, I hadn't drunk for 10 years, so this was like, fucking hell, this is literally it, mate. Like I've had no non-sober feeling.
Yeah.
So I drank 6 of these, and I woke up in the morning with a Japanese girl in my bed.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, perhaps when I get drunk, I'm fluent in Japanese. How does this happen? Because she didn't speak much of the Queen's, and I don't speak a word. I can barely speak English. You can hear that. And yeah, I ended up, I guess, having sex. I don't know if we. But wild night on 6 Baileys. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Baileys.
Yeah.
But White Lightning obviously is poison forever for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had some wild nights out. Like I said, like Matthew Pritchard from Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah.
There was one night we played the Mean Fiddler. No, not the Mean Fiddler. The Underworld in Camden.
Yeah.
Pritch was there. We came off stage and he was like, "Right then, we'll go see my friend the Sheikh."
Yeah.
Right? Because you got a friend who's a Saudi Arabian Sheikh, I think he is.
Yeah.
And so we went back to this townhouse in Maida Vale, right?
Yeah.
I looked up, when we got there, I was looking up other properties on Zillow near it.
Yeah.
And this was a £3 to £4 million house.
Yeah.
And so we knocked the door. Should I say his name? Yeah, I'll say his name.
Yeah, go on.
So we're there now. It's me, Pritch, and a guy called Butsy Butler, who is a drift car driver.
Right, yeah.
And so we're knocking on this Sheikh's door at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, my ex-girlfriend was there as well. And he comes to the door and his name's Amro.
Yeah.
So 1 o'clock in a really posh area of London with all these townhouses.
Yeah.
Pritch is going, Amro, man, I want to be an Amro man. Right? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Pritch. He's fucking super posh on, yeah, it's fucking nearly 2 a.m. We go into the house.
Yeah.
And Butsy ends up with, I believe it's a lady, the former wife of the drummer of Queen.
Right, yeah.
She's in the house as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the Sheikh, who doesn't do any drugs because he's Muslim or whatever,
Yeah.
Pritch goes, "Oh, have you got anything or what?"
Yeah.
And he, all of a sudden, just a box appears,
Yeah.
mixed with different narcotics, I guess.
Yeah.
And it turns out he just buys them to have idiots like us entertain him while we're fucking off it.
Imagine being that desperate for friends.
But
Sandro's not here, so we can't ask him. But
and then Pritch, it ends every night I've literally ever had with Pritchard has ended up with him on a table or higher than everybody else singing Queen.
Yeah.
Every house party I've been to in his house would end up with him on a table watching Live Aid.
Yeah.
Singing Queen. There was the one time that we put Twin Town on.
Yeah.
And literally there was 30 people in this house party.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Oh, we should watch Twin Town, that's a laugh."
Yeah.
We put Twin Town on. It got to the bit where they set fire to the parents' cabin.
Yeah.
You know where it gets dark from here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A girl stood up and went, "I don't think we should watch this anymore. It'll make us all sad." And everyone went, "Yeah! AC/DC Live Aid! Back into it!" We'd all went from having like a mad house party to like, "Oh, let's sit down and watch a film." And we all started watching a film. And we were like, "Oh, it's going to get too sad now. Fuck this, party on!"
well, you can't win because your fans reckon your music was too happy. I mean, you can't fucking win, but you put a film on, it's too sad. You make music, it's too happy. You just can't fucking win.
I know. That's it. They didn't see, like, behind the scenes, I met Pritch and I started partying where the Start the Party album comes from, and then obviously the kids who were into us were like, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I love
still miserable.
I love those nights out that always end up in houses, right? Especially when there's narcotics involved, because that's when things get like really sketchy and stuff that would normally happen in everyday life that would be mad is just seen as normal, right? I remember I was in a house party once and it was getting to about 6 a.m. and the sun was coming up and we weren't ready for the sun, so we were like, okay, we're gonna put
curtains up,
big bed sheet over the window, and one of the girls got on one of the guy's shoulders to put the bed sheets up, right? And as he stood up, completely misjudged how small the room was, right? He stood
Bang!
up. Her head has gone through the ceiling. So she's like this on her neck. But then he panics and sort of goes, but she doesn't come down.
I bet her back felt amazing when she got down. Stretched out right down.
But alcohol always causes issues, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm banned for life from Aberystwyth Pier. I've drinking related incidents, but I'm banned for life from Aberystwyth Pier. Right?
Yeah.
No review. Like banned for life.
Yeah.
Shamima Begum joined ISIS.
And she's allowed back.
And they have considered letting her back in. And I am not allowed back in Aberystwyth Pier. Fucking...
Is she a danger to Aberystwyth Pier, though? That's the question.
But yeah, but she don't drink, does she?
But you know, like you say, you're banned. How old were you when you got banned?
Fucking 32.
18.
I love the idea you're banned for life, right? So every day they've got to put an updated picture of you. Exactly. Like slowly losing your hair.
You got all those magnetic filing things, they just take a little bit more off every year. Keep an eye out, the bald bastard will be back. But the worst thing was, it was a video shop I liked to use on that pier, and I weren't allowed in the video shop either.
Oh, really? What did you do, Chuck? Why did they ban you?
We can't go into that. Like.
Oh, really? You're aware this is the problematic pub podcast, right?
I love the idea of the security at the front of the pier going, oh, we need to get an updated photo. He's got a scar across the front of his head.
Exactly.
He's been headbutting windows lately.
And they're dragging away another guy. Ball guy's going, it's not me. I'm with my wife.
Phil Mitchell's refused entry to the club. Yeah, it looks like it.
Have we tried to go back? Please try and go back and film there. You have to go back. Just because... How are they going to stop? Like, unless they, like you said, unless they've
the
got
owners of Aberystwyth Pier, if you were watching this, please
and they
let
will
me
be.
back in, because I have a copy of Twin Town I need to return to that video shop. My fines are fucking massive.
Keep are they worth a fortune now on VHS?
I'd love it if you were allowed back and the first thing you go to is that video shop and it's obviously closed down. What do you mean you can stream shit now? I've been waiting for years to come back.
Is Netflix?
Do you know you said you were sober for like 10
years?
Man. Like, so I was sober for 2 years, right? And I was in that position when I was out with my drunk friends when I had to fucking look after them, right? And I hated it, man. Did you get bored when you were sober?
No, I loved it.
Oh, did you?
Just because I could watch people being fucking idiots all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was.
You can do that drunk as well.
No, yeah, I know, but you don't remember it as well, and you can't. You can't drive people to other locations where they're going to be fucking idiots.
Don't you end up going home early though? I always find when I'm sober, just after I go off.
Yeah.
Well, I think
To stay up all night.
I was
home early for 3 more days.
I was constantly full of energy. So like, when the boys were getting like 4 to 8 cans of Carling in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just get 4 cans of Red Bull.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
Like you're fucked then because I'm talking to you all night. So
see, I was nuts, right? Because I remember going to a party in the Isle of Wight when I wasn't drinking, right? And I've got fucking double standards, man. Like, so basically, I tell you, fucking, I know I got double standards because I went. If I go on a date, I go for like the best food ever, right? And after that date, I'll happily stick my tongue in someone's arse, right? That's my double standards, right?
Yeah.
But like, I was in the Isle of Wight, and they were like, "Oh, you're not drinking." I'm like, no, and the party's going on, and someone says, we got some MDMA going on. I go, obviously you're not interested in that. I'm like, I said I wasn't drinking. I ended up getting fucked up on that, right?
Yeah.
It was class. So I was with when I was sober for 2 years, the girl I was with, I realised our entire relationship was based on alcohol, right? And in those 2 years, I was like, fucking hell, she didn't stop drinking. And it was the maddest thing. You know, when you watch people fucked, right? She used to do this thing where, like, I'd hear her come in drunk, and she would do that thing where I could hear her downstairs fucking shushing herself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, shh. And even in the bedroom, she's like, fucking shh, shh. And I remember thinking one day, right, either she's back or I'm being fucking burgled by an ice skater.
Alcohol's so bad. So back years ago, it must have been like 2010s, early 2000s. So
Yeah.
it was a David Nutt. He was basically
It's a good name for
Dine Nut, man.
that.
Bit of Dine Nut. So this guy was basically chaired the board of, I think it was the drug misuse panel for Labour
yeah.
or some shit like that. David Nutt. And so basically he said, I'll chair your panel only if you let me continue this research I've been doing.
Yeah.
We're trying to develop this scale of like the detriment of recreational drugs
Yeah, I
in the UK.
remember it.
Yeah.
And said, man, it's so fucking great that does. Sign him up. And so he he puts it all in. He's there for a few years, and it comes out that fucking
Booze is the worst.
top 3 is like alcohol, tobacco, and heroin. That cunt's fired, didn't he?
They fired him immediately.
Yeah, they fired. Well,
Yeah,
they
Tony Blair
tax
got rid of him. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking down the bottom was like sort of weed, mushroom, fucking ecstasy.
MDA, he was actually saying MDMA and pills shouldn't be illegal at all.
Yeah, not they fired the cunt as well.
But you know what? I genuinely like being around drinkers, right? I like being in dodgy pubs around dodgy people. They're just the funnest people. They got the best stories. Like my old man was like a proper drinker, and I remember he tried to quit for about 6 months, and those are the worst memories I've got of my old man. It was boring as fuck, right? I used to go to my old man to the football, and he'd be on the fucking North Bank, a proper fucking hooligan, and I was only about fucking 13. He'd run on the pitch, get arrested, and I'd have to make my own way home. But that kind of stuff, man. I look at stuff like that, I'm like, but it's stories, man. Like those people that you meet in the pub, they're just full of the characters, man. They're fucking class, like. I love it, like.
The more of a character, the less of a relationship to their family they have. It's the way you tend to fucking go.
I've just been looking for material. I think I get accused of that, but I don't do that much anymore. But when I was younger, people are going, "Oh, you're just trying to make a night happen. You're trying to make something happen so you can tell a story and get some material out of it." I'm like, well, no, they're always honest. I'm not trying to make it happen. It's just these things happen.
Yeah,
the craziest things do happen to me.
Yeah,
or anyone when you put yourself in those states.
You've got a mad life through comedy as well, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you find yourself in some pretty crazy spots.
So Phil, you told me earlier that you'd had a bit of time off comedy. What have you been doing?
I was in the States. I was in a place called Atlantic City on the New Jersey shore.
Where are the wise guys on? New Jersey, you fucking kidding me? You fucking punk.
And it is like that. It's like mental.
Come on.
I was in a show called The Hook, which is run by a company called Spiegelworld. They run a big cabaret, like circus cabaret shows like Clique or La Soirée, if you've seen them. They run one called Absinthe in Vegas, which is massive, 600 seats. And it's sort of Cirque du Soleil level acrobatics, but with adult humor. So I developed a character called Dick Marlin, who was the host of the show. But hey, Dick Marlin, how you doing? New Jersey, and everybody loves Dick. All right? You like Dick, man? This woman likes Dick. And I would get the crowd like chant, I love Dick. I love Dick. And I'd try and get one of the guys, I'd pick on a guy and try to get him to say, no, they'd always go, I like pussy. Say the fucking words, dude. It's I like Dick. It's, you're like, how scared are you of it? I can't say it in case people think I'm gay. And so I was the host of that for about a year and a half, and I've just come back. It was great. I lived like 3 minutes from a beach. And it was, I rode my bike to work along the boardwalk, and I did 10 shows a week, and it was wicked. That's really cool.
For me, man, that's the best thing about being comedy is like every now and again you get these weird side options where you can make money, but they're never normal. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking that's amazing.
They're all athletes as well. So they're all, so you know they don't really party. Some of them drink a little bit, but they don't really party because they've got to next day be spinning around and got to have about them. So then there was like a lot of abs, a lot of fucking abs, a lot of guys with that, young guys with abs. But it was a really good experience, and it just got me off the circuit for a little while.
Oh, nice one. Sean, you're from Merthyr, right? You're born and bred in Merthyr,
Sadly.
Right? Would you say Merthyr was a rough place?
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah. What's some of the maddest things you've seen in Merthyr, mate? Because I asked Chuck this question once, and I could not believe the stories come from Merthyr.
Right. So I was brought up in a place called Penydarren. Pendarren, we call it. And which is right by a place called the Gurness.
Right, we know the Gurness. The Gurness, which is I used to do panto in Merthyr, and the Gurness was the butt of every joke. In
Which like Merthyr, I think at one point we used to be 2008's third roughest town in Britain. I know that's like fucking. 16 years.
Yeah, right.
We must
yeah.
have slipped a few ranks.
But we were third in Britain. It was like Croydon and Hackney, I think, were the only two above it.
Jesus Christ.
And
Cumbernauld.
So that's for.
I was born in a place called Cumbernauld,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like world ranked as the second shittiest town in the country, and it never gets to number one because it's that shit. And it's like you can't walk from the train station by yourself anywhere, or you'll get in a fight.
They're so low in ambition, it can't even get the number one in the roughest towns.
Yeah, exactly. And I was told you don't. I was actually walking by because it's where I was born, so I was looking on my 50th birthday, went to look for the house, and when I got there, this guy took me into his van and said, Are you nuts, man? Because he goes, if you walk along in this tenements, they'll just take your shoes off you, like you'll be and more, like they'll just, and you're talking like 13, 14-year-old kids, they'll stab you, mate. And so don't let me drive you back to the train station, I guess. But this sounds like one of those.
Yeah.
But imagine, mate, there was a nice ending to that, though. Imagine you thought you were getting robbed, like someone comes up to you and they take your shoes off. You go, what's going on? I go, it's a bouncy castle over there.
Exactly. I'm just taking someone's shoes. Just take your shoes. I'll have your shoes. Yeah, exactly.
Merthyr's actually famous for a few things, you know, and it's like two of my favourite things Merthyr's famous for is we bought the most white socks per capita.
What?
That was around the same time.
And the other one is the people of Merthyr claim credit for the invention of Viagra.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does.
That's because at the bottom of town, not far from Troyderoo, Simbeck. Simbeck, where they do all the testing on the drugs.
There before,
and that's where they they did all the Viagra trials.
So
that would explain why it was so angry.
Who wants it? So what happened is they were actually testing angina medication.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And so
it ended up being vagina medication.
Who's the comedian here?
Sorry, that was rubbish.
50% of the fucking people are coming back and going like, I don't know about my heart, but my fucking cock is rock hard.
And so that was the women in Merthyr. Hey, 2 in a row.
But these days it could be,
But did you know as well that the Jabbertan stuff where people can what's it called, melatonin?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So basically, that originally that was supposed to be Viagra, right? And if you take it, it does still work like that. But I love the idea that during those trials, they must have had all these pensioners and they're jabbing them, and I go, it's weird because his cock is half working, but fuck me, he's looking healthy.
But the best thing about them so basically they take credit for the invention of Viagra.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it was just tested on them.
Right, okay.
So that's like the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki taking credit for the atomic bomb.
Sorry, carry on, Sean.
So I was born in Pendarren, and then obviously the Gurnas is literally 10 minutes away, if that. And one night, we were just in the park where we used to play football. Yeah. And a bunch of boys from the Gurnas came down. Yeah. To fight the hardest boys in Pendarren. Right? Yeah. And I wasn't one, like, I'm the gobby fucking shite who was just like, I'll talk my way out of it. I'll talk and I can run like fuck. You're not catching me.
You just strip naked.
Yeah.
Come on!
With a hard on.
Take that jeans off! I can get through the jeans!
You strip naked, hard cock, and all you've left on is white socks.
He paid for those white socks, bro. He paid for those white socks.
And so, one of the boys from the Gurnas, he came into the park. He went up to the two known hardest boys, who were brothers, Rydian and Matthew. And, he started fucking giving him shit. Yeah. One of them headbutted him, dropped him. And then 4 or 5 people were literally... So, you know those things in the park, like... You put a kid on and just fucking... I don't do that to the kids, but at the time, like it was like a spinny...
A roundabout?
No.
It's part of the Raelians thing,
Anyway, it's about to take a dark turn. So these 6 boys were fighting this one guy. Yeah. And all of a sudden, they were going round this thing. Yeah. Taking turns to jump and stamp on his head. Oh. Right? So all of a sudden, I was like, he's fucking dead. Yeah. He got up, right? Yeah. And he literally looked around the park and he went, is that all you've got? And we all went, oh, fuck. And then that fight, right, carried on 4 streets away, right, to a street called...
They escaped via the monkey bars.
We were all trying to leave the park. Can't swing over the fence and stuff. If you're in the slide, if you run up the slide fast enough, you might be able to go over.
The seesaw's up in the air. You can't.
This fight, right, which was probably, it ended up, must have been 20 people fighting, right?
Yeah.
It ended up moving 4 streets, right? outside the 2 boys who, like, nutted the fella, right? Outside their house. But this is Merthyr. This point here is fucking Merthyr. 2 fucking lots of people beating the fucking shit out of each other, right? The police came. We could hear the police come in. The mother of the boys said, "Fucking hell, the police here. Everybody in the house." Right?
Yeah.
Everybody went into the house. There must have been 35 people in that house, right? We were all sat down. We were on a sofa. There was people. We were sat opposite people. My friends were just fighting.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there going, because we were all football boys.
Yeah.
We were like, who have you got on the weekend then? And we were like, try to do or whatever. Oh, fucking nice one. Be a good game, wasn't it? Yeah. Fucking police came. We've heard of a disturbance. Man said, nothing happened in here.
Yeah.
They fucked off. Right then, everybody back up. Everyone's fine, dispersed. That's Merthyr though. It's like full of fucking knobheads who will fight each other at any moment.
Yeah,
but then when it come to it, like the mother was like, everybody in the house. Like it wasn't like, goodness comes, fuck off.
Yeah, mate.
It was everybody in the house.
And that just proves, mate, doesn't matter what the situation is, it can be sorted out by a Valley's mum.
Yeah,
like, you
100%,
don't fuck around with Valley's mums, mate. Jesus Christ.
You think Black Lives Matter started to defund the police? It's Merthyr. We just hate the police. Fucking everyone in that fucking house.
They were literally stamping on each other's heads 10 minutes ago, and then next minute we're all sitting down going, good result in the weekend.
You know, mate, I remember back in the day, the voice of any Welsh mum was like a fucking air raid siren. Wasn't it? Didn't matter where you were on the estate, like as soon as you heard "Tears ready," you'd be in like fucking class.
Those, what was that? What was that? Skint. That show Skint. That was the first episode was based in Merthyr, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's
well, we got one of the sound clips at the beginning of the podcast where it goes, "Stop it, boys! You're doing my head in!" Proper fucking Welsh.
I saw the one guy. Did you watch that? Have you seen it? Yeah. Seen the fella when a van goes past and he's like, "Oh son, I'll fucking, what's he say?"
He says,
"I'll kick your head in,"
as if he's going to turn the car around and fucking drive onto his fucking lawn.
I saw that. I've never seen that before in my life, right? And I pride myself on knowing a lot of people in Merthyr. I saw him in town the other day and I was like, oh my God, like I'd seen fucking Sylvester Stallone turn up. I was like, oh my God, it's a fella. I'll smash your head in, sir.
Do you know my favourite thing about that clip, right? So he's getting interviewed and the van goes past, "Hey, I'll smash your head in. Hey, come back." And he looks at the camera, he goes, "Bloody knuckles round you."
Aye, fucking you and your family, you mad fucker.
Yeah.
Well, they had that Valley's Cops thing there.
Yeah.
It was like the opening intro, some kid getting arrested on the roundabout dressed up from girls. Like, it's Nathan, went to school with him.
That show, the Merthyr police, I remember they said, right, you're banned from Merthyr for 48 hours. And I was like, what if you live there, right?
Not just Merthyr Pier.
Like, but banning someone from somewhere for 48, like if you live there, you got to go. What, you got to wait by Abercunnan, have you? And for 48 hours, just like
no, there was
right to the edge of Merthyr, like back in.
There was a lad who was banned from my village he went out on lunch and he tried to. I can't remember what the actual story was, but basically, he was trying to get the radio out of a bus. Parked on a fucking hill, and obviously buses have different handbrakes and that. So obviously he's trying to get the radio out, and the fucking handbrake comes off his bus. Yeah, and the bus goes down this hill. And through this woman's fucking living room window.
Fucking hell.
So this pensioner's there watching.
And it still wasn't on time.
She's trying to get a 6-letter word fucking counter, and all of a sudden the fucking guy comes through the fucking. And they only banned him from the village. Like that was it. He can still go to school there. Like we haven't got a pier to ban him from.
Banned for 40. What does that mean? 48. Like what?
It means 2 days.
I live 2 days. No, I know what it means. But what am I meant to do? Like,
so are there any rough parts of Canada? With the place you got in Canada, was it
Vancouver? Do you know a comedian called Tom Stade?
Yeah, I love Tom.
He's from one of the hardest parts of his town.
Yeah.
But Canadians are weird though because they're all like really nice. Hey, how's it going there?
Yeah.
And then they get a couple of drinks in them.
Canadians and that. Didn't you murder all your Inuit children and bury them in the churches? That is a genuine story.
Yeah, that's the Catholics. They do like a fight. Canadian guys. Like I mean, ice hockey is based on putting a stick in someone's hand on ice and having it go. So I mean, I grew up in sort of the suburbs of Toronto, so which was kind of rough, but nothing like that. But where Tom's from, it's kind of place where people would just go. They would go to the local like tavern and sit outside in their cars. And there was the guy who was like the reigning tough guy champ, and people just take him on. Just line up to fight him. Guys come from other towns and go, "Oh, you're fucking tough."
It's a big drug problem in Canada at the moment. Isn't it?
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Kind of like
it's always been. Vancouver's always been bad.
Hit them hard.
Yeah, Vancouver's always been bad like that. But that's different than the countryside.
Yeah,
like these are the guys. So one of the stories I've heard is that guys be lined to be like three guys in a bar, and they're mouthing off to a guy. He's there with his girlfriend, and then he stands up. He's actually got five mates, and they go outside to fight, and they're going like, "Actually, can't be 5 against 1." He goes, "Well, I'll be on their side," and they'll just swing off, and they'll fight.
We did rugby. We didn't have enough players.
That's what Canadians like. Oh well, can't be unfair. I can't be an unfair fight. I'll fight with you, boys. Fucking assholes. You know, and then they hug each other.
It's a bit like Mirth,
that is Canadians have got that attitude. It's got to be a fair fight, though. We once did a place called Antigonish, which is like a lumber town.
Yeah.
And we were in a bar. No women in the bar. There's no women in the town. There's like the one woman behind the owner was behind the counter, and her husband. And there was the bare knuckle boxing champion of Canada was one of the guys leading the town. These are lumber guys, fucking massive guys. And we were getting heckled. We were on the bare naked ladies were supporting us, and at the time we were playing all these like university gigs, and we're suddenly in this fucking Lumberville, and they used to do a comedy act, the two of them, and wear like little cat hats, like with little kittens things on. And they're on stage doing this thing, and these guys are going, "What the fuck is this fucking bullshit?" And one of the guys went up, but fortunately we'd been there all afternoon, and we'd made friends with the bare knuckle boxing champion of Canada. We'd been at the bar talking to him, and he was like a nice guy. And we got so when they came off, one of the guys in the audience came up, was going up to them and doing this, and this guy just walked over and just went, "Fuck off!" And you could just see everyone in the bar go, "Oh yeah, okay." Fuck off. This guy's reputation was, I'll just fucking knock you out. And so it's a man's world. Like they think Canadians being really like, "Hey, how's it going here?" Like and they can be in the cities, but anytime we went out in the countryside or did gigs out like way out in the middle of nowhere, you'd be nice to people.
I've seen the size on a moose. You have to be tough to live.
But you know what? I spent a bit of time in Norway, right, and in Oslo, and the Norwegian guys there are they're pretty soft, but they're nice guys. And then I went up more north Norway, and oh my god, you know the furthest I went up, I swear to God, the guys were so manly up there I could feel myself growing ovaries. I think by the time I got to the top, I was 6 months pregnant. I didn't know what the fuck had gone on. But I think like and it's obviously it gets colder up there, and the jobs they do up there, man, they're working on the oil rigs and stuff like that. It's proper fucking men, like it's scary.
Yeah, they're men's men. Yeah. But I've never really been. I've always been a mouthy little Scottish prick. So, So I've never, I've never tried to avoid getting into scraps. And I also was really small for my age growing up, so I got bullied all the time. So I've got a big mouth, but I just don't like. I just avoid. I've learned how to run and turn.
Turn
and run.
I was the same in school. I was the smallest one because I had humour. I could sort of hang around with the hard guys in school, and I was a bit protected. Like, and now obviously I've got Chuck, so we're good. That's been the Problematic Pub Podcast, episode 30, with myself, Chuck Morris. We've had Phil Nichol, and we've had Sean. Oh my god, I forgot it again.
I'm not telling you.
It's Sean. It's fucking Sean.
Just Sean.
So, have you got anything you guys want to plug before we leave, Phil? Anything coming up? No, nothing. But were you saying your show where you told a little story there about the naked racist?
The naked racist.
Are you touring that at all?
Well, no, I'm back on the circuit. I'm working on a new show. If you want to find, I've got stuff online, and I could always use the extra income. But I've got like a couple albums. Go to Bandcamp. There's an album like 22 tracks of like music that now I was going to re-release it and realize now is not the right time because it's got songs about Rohypnol and stuff on there. If
He's
you,
going to go to Israel for a second.
but if you like that kind of humor, then that's on Bandcamp under Phil Nichols. The only place you can get it. But the nice thing about Bandcamp is the money all comes to me pretty much. But I've also got other stuff online and DVDs and stuff like that. If you want to go,
well, we'll put some links under this. And Sean, what are you up to? Obviously, the band's back together. What's coming up for you guys?
We've just announced that we're doing, there's a band called You Made Six from England. No, not You Made Six England, that was all of England. And they're doing final shows, so they asked us, because we've been friends for years, to be involved with that. So we're playing Cardiff, Great Hall, March the 13th, it's sold out already, and April the 2nd, Brixton Academy, that's sold out. And then nothing else coming up for the band that I can talk about right now. And I do a podcast called Sappening Podcast, which is Merthyr Sappening. So I do that, which is just a behind the scenes look at, it's mostly bands, but we've had wrestlers, we've had comedians, we've had actors. So check it out.
Nice. We'll
put
put the link for that podcast under here as well. Right, thank you for coming on, guys. It's been a Problematic Podcast episode 30.